All right, gang, so my team wanted me to share with you my blueprint for scaling a business without burning out. So I'm gonna take 5 minutes and just show you exactly how my work days look, especially at the beginning, to ensure that by the end of the day, I'm not burned out, but yet I'm still productive and I can just repeatedly do this every single day. So you guys can come over here. I'm gonna show you exactly what this looks like and how it goes. So the first thing that I do each morning, and something I highly recommend all of you do, is create a calendar that does not affect any of your other calendars. So I created a separate calendar here called 1% Better Daily, okay? I named it that, and that's the blue calendar because it just keeps me on track of what to do every day from a schedule perspective. So all the green is my business and work calendar. This is sort of a personal mixed with business calendar. So you can see here, every morning I wake up at 7, get out of bed, drink water, take vitamins, and meditate. Right after that, I do an hour of some sort of strength training and cardio, and then I take 30 minutes to have a balanced breakfast and a protein shake every day. Now, this is just a way for me to repetitively do the same things on a specific schedule as I head into what I call my first work block of the day. So this is a 4-hour work block where I'm only allowed to work. And typically in the mornings, I'm taking that time to do deep work. Typically, I block this out to work specifically on my business unbothered, right? This is time where my team knows like I'm probably not delegating tasks or doing any tasks myself. I have a 1-hour blank space for lunch. And then I have my evening work block, which is again, after I'm already maybe a little tired from working, maybe already had calls. This is more so for like team communications, recaps, and looking through my day. This is the number one thing I think all of you guys should do right now, just to map out like your dream day throughout the week. And you can even set this to have weekends as well. What does your dream life look like from a schedule perspective? So that's number one, have a calendar to reflect that. But number two is I have a project management tool called Asana. All right, you guys can use Notion, you can use Monday.com. I covered that in another video. But I use this to recur specific tasks, all right, at specific times every single day to do a number of things, okay? The obvious is productivity and staying on track, making sure nothing slips through the cracks, okay? But number two, it gives me small wins every day, okay? Even on a day when I'm not feeling productive, I can check the boxes off of specific tasks that are going to make me feel good just to check the box, right? So it gamifies my life, if you will. So hopefully I'm not sharing too much personal stuff on my screen here. I kind of don't care. But let's look at tomorrow, for example, right? Tomorrow, I have to upload some content that I shot. Okay, I have to record some new things to the curriculum. All right, I have to review some documents. All right, these are tasks that are business tasks, and they're just generally due like tomorrow, you see it says. If I scroll, you can see like they're due certain days in the future, right? But again, let's go back to tomorrow here. As I get through those, you can see I have recurring tasks, right? This one, daily affirmations and prayer, 7 a.m. Does that look familiar, right? Right here, 7 a.m., meditation and affirmations. So you can see, although I have them on my calendar as a reminder, I also, when I open my project management tool, I get the satisfaction of checking that off. Wake up 7 a.m. out of bed. Again, we all wake up. This is not something that other people aren't doing, but I get the satisfaction of checking that off. Taking my vitamins, I check that off. So again, small wins to kick off my day along with a coffee. I'm already feeling good before I even did any work, okay? Because I've gamified my regular life in the same way that I did work, it all just meshes together of just me. This is what having a good day looks like, checking the boxes. Mind you, I'm in full control of this. So I can change the dates if I feel overwhelmed. I can delete tasks that I find myself constantly pushing back that are not important, which is sort of step 3 of having a tool like this. It's not enough to just have it. You want to make it truly reflect, your feelings, your thoughts. If a task is overwhelming you, it's probably an overwhelming task. So you need to figure out how to remove that task from your life, okay? Very simply put. Or you need to look into your level of discipline, your level of desire, right? So if you have a task that overwhelms you, but you know it's a small task, like maybe you're lazy. Maybe you need something to motivate you more. Maybe you add a task to motivate you, okay? But anywho, diving right back in here, you can see a balanced breakfast is on here, right? And then I have simple tasks like checking my finances, right? Checking this is a task. Checking Asana is literally a task that I have. Again, small wins. Now I'm sharing all of this with you guys really just to say that when you stack every little thing that you're doing in a tool like this, okay? Writing it on a whiteboard is great. Writing on a piece of paper, putting it in your notes is great. I like Asana because it's automated and connected to other things like calendars, like Google Drive, etc. And I can share it with my entire staff of 12 people, all right? But outside of that, let's keep it personal. When you stack everything that you're doing and you get to look at every tiny thing that you do that day, pick up this package, have a coffee, like these are all small things. When they're not tracked, at the end of each day, you can feel exhausted and burned out and literally not know why, right? Because you're not looking at it. I can look at my task and be like, yo, that's a lot of tasks for one day. I'm putting too much on my plate. In order to know if you're overwhelming yourself or putting too much on your plate, you have to have a plate. Asana turns the idea of life, the idea of being overwhelmed, and turns it into a plate. So the more granular and detailed you can get in everything that you're doing, from taking your vitamins in the morning to a big task or a big project that you're doing at work, this is gonna help your ability to mitigate really being overwhelmed and being burned out. Now in real estate, there's a ton of things that you do that are going to overwhelm you just because they're heavy and stressful, like obtaining a 6 or 7 figure loan to buy a house or do construction, right? Signing a ton of paperwork because you're going to be taking ownership of a property, AKA a deed, right? Raising tons of money from people to potentially partner with, managing contractors who you're paying 5, sometimes 6 figures, and you're afraid that they might run off. Like these are real issues that most investors are going through that's going to provide stress anyway, right? So one thing we can control is how many things we're doing that day and our schedule and the timing of which we execute. So in real estate, because you can make so much money and because it's like such a crazy business, a lot of people skip this part and they just hustle their way to making money, and then they wonder why they're burned out or why they can't create predictability and scalability. And it's simply because they're not organized. This is an easy way, even if you've never closed a deal, this is an easy way right now to organize your life, map out what your dream life looks like from a schedule perspective, and then start documenting every tiny little task that you do, from walking your dog to taking your morning vitamins, drinking a coffee, meeting up with friends, going to pick up a package, mailing something, returning that thing to Zara. All of these things should be tracked so that you can really look at your day and say, okay, like this was actually an overwhelming day. I put too much on my plate today. Let me not do that anymore, okay? When you pair this with the calendar, you can say, hey, I'm working 8 hours today. 4-hour block in the morning, 4-hour block in the evening. No, I'm sorry, I have a 3-hour block. So I work 6 hours intentionally. So it's like, if I can't squeeze it in those 6 hours, I need to move things to tomorrow. And if when I'm moving things to tomorrow, they keep getting pushed back because I'm constantly overwhelmed, then I probably need to hire someone or simply eliminate how much I'm doing. So you guys can see how manipulating your time, as well as documenting everything into a task list or into some sort of program, can work together to prevent you from being overwhelmed and put you in the mindset of getting 1% daily. One of my favorite quotes I ever learned is that if you get 1% better every single day, okay, 1% better daily, at the end of the year, you'll literally be 36.5 times better. There's 365 days, 1% better each day, that's 365%, that's 36.5 times better. Right, we can round up, you'll be 37 times better at the end of the year to get 1% better each day than by always staying in a good mentality, never feeling burned out, never needing to take extra days off or extra time off, because you're organized and because your schedule is literally designed to get you 1% better each and every day. All right, so I hope this video helps. Again, Asana is the tool that I use, but Notion works just as well. Monday works just as well. And then I literally just use Google Calendar or Apple Calendar to map out my dream life, okay? Block out exactly what I would do each time of the day if I was my perfect self. So if that's you, an aspiring real estate agent, when would you call new leads, motivated sellers? When would you go out and network? When would you post on social media, right? When would you create content? When would you interview people to hire, right? Which is kind of on the same level as networking. Like, when are you doing these things, and how often each week, and how often each day, okay? And create that calendar and then start from there, all right? And then, like I said, to-do list in Notion, Monday, or Asana, recurring at the time of day that you typically find yourself doing them. Again, eliminating that, the thought of what do I need to do today, out of your mind is half the battle, and then organizing them and keeping them refined in a specific schedule is certainly the key, one of my favorite keys to just like happiness as an entrepreneur, not achieving burnout and not feeling overwhelmed. And before I let you guys go, maybe I'll do a whole nother video on this, but if you notice on my calendar and in Asana, I talked about, I guess, meditation, gratitude, affirmations. I'm not gonna share mine, but in my task, if you wanna come a little closer, camera lady, in my tasks for doing my affirmations daily, if I can find it, I literally affirm my happiness, I affirm my finances, I affirm on a personal level, chill, don't get too close now, I can't give them the secrets, right? And then I give gratitude for all that I currently have, and then I manifest things I currently don't do or don't have, okay? Now again, we're getting super personal here, but I'm sharing that just to say, like, this is what keeps me grounded, right? This is what every day allows me to show up, even when a homeless person steals the AC from one of my properties, a contractor disappears with $5,000 or $10,000, a buyer backs out last minute. These are the horror stories and they happen. And the only thing that keeps me grounded and keep going is by being extremely organized and, again, affirming everything that I currently am and currently do, and manifesting everything that I currently want to be and currently want to possess. All right, so hope this helps. Like, share, subscribe. Again, I'm Art Morrison III with United Home Relief. I appreciate you guys for watching and supporting this page. Share it with someone who obviously could benefit from this, and I'll catch you guys on the next video. Peace.